What's up, Turf Talk? It's me, Richard Donahue, and
Landon Stuziak.
And today we have a special guest on, Dougly Do Wrong. I've been watching him for years, so today.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Not much.
I'm really excited for this. We have lots of good questions, so we can get started right now. Doug, so who's the team to beat in the AFC East?
To me, right now, it's still Buffalo. They're been the AFC East champs for the past 4 years. Yeah, they lost a ton of talent, but they still have Josh Allen. So to me, it's still Buffalo. It's kind of like it was with the Patriots for a while. As long as they continue to win the division, they're the team to beat.
Yeah, I think honestly, talent-wise, it's Miami, but obviously we had the division in our hands. We were like 10-3, and we fell apart. So it's still Buffalo's division, but I think we're the team to beat. So
pretty good insight. All right, I got a question about the Jets.
What about you, Landon?
About like what we were just talking about, or a question?
Yeah,
about the team.
What were we talking about?
Oh, okay. Obviously, I'm not trying to be biased, but it's obviously still the Bills because they've won the past 4 years in a row. So until they're dethroned, they're going to be the favorites, I would say.
Yeah.
All right, am I good enough?
All right, Landon, I'll let you do it.
All right. So I got a Jets question. How do we think these young Jets players like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, etc., are going to produce now that hopefully Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy and they have a line?
It's a lot of predicates on if they stay healthy, though, because they bring in Williams and he just tore his ACL, and they're talking about him not being ready till the middle of training camp. You have Moses coming off a torn pec, which he played with all last season. You got Smith, who hasn't played a full season since 2015. So there's a lot of ifs and buts. And then you got to hope that Aaron Rodgers comes back pre-2022 because he was hot garbage in 2022. But if everything goes their way, I think that, they can really produce, especially Breece Hall, who didn't get a lot of carries. He started getting frustrated towards the end of the year for the Jets because they weren't giving him the ball. Wilson, I think he's gonna be the biggest one who's gonna have success if Aaron Rodgers is healthy. And then you got that defense. I think the defense is still gonna be really good. There's not a lot of change. They bring in Hassan Reddick, which is kind of like an even switch for the linebacker that they lost. So I think their defense is going to stay pretty much the same. It's about their offense staying healthy, and they think they added guys that are going to make a difference, which they could, but if they stay healthy, and they've proven they can't. So we'll see how that all pans out.
I'm personally so excited to see Garrett Wilson hopefully have a healthy Aaron Rodgers because he's so talented. It's crazy, but he just hasn't had a quarterback yet, kind of like a little Terry McLaurin situation.
Mm-hmm.
McLaurin
has exactly.
a quarterback, but I think they got a backup. They got Tyrod as their backup too. Tyrod ain't bad. Tyrod can get him the ball. I'm excited to see what they can do if they stay healthy.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Breece Hall. I think he's going to have a huge jump. His rookie season, before he got injured, he had an amazing rookie season. Last year, when he got the ball, he looked like a stud. So hopefully with Aaron Rodgers taking some pressure off, I think he could have a really big year. And I think Garrett Wilson obviously will have a big step up with the quarterback. I have another Jets question. So are the Jets all hype? Because everyone in New York saying that they're Super Bowl contenders, but I don't know.
This is a good one.
So I'm in Jersey. A lot of people think I'm in Miami. I'm in Jersey. So I listen to the radio 101.9 and all that stuff, and I hear it. And I think that's why I have such a pushback with the Jets, because that's all I hear. Oh, we have the best team on paper. We have the most well-rounded team. And it's a lot of hype. It's a lot. Like I said, I've listened to it year in and year out. Oh, this is our year. We added so-and-so. Last year, Lazard and Cobb, and we added all these guys, and then it fell apart. Even the year before that, I think they were they had like a really good record and then lost like 7 straight games. It's like
6-3.
it's the Jets, man. I used to be like that with the Browns. I would like never pick the Browns until they proved me wrong, and recently they've been proving me wrong. So I think the Jets at most will probably win like 9 games, and that could probably piss off a lot of Jet fans, but it's like the Dolphins. We get hyped up for September, October, November, and we're the best team in football, and then December comes. So it's like they got to prove me wrong.
Yeah. I think the Jets are they're not Super Bowl contenders like the fans like want to say on Twitter, especially, but I think they're definitely a playoff team. Like they could sneak in like 6 seed, 7 seed. And with the Hassan Reddick, that's pretty big in my opinion. I think Hassan Reddick is one of the best edge rushers in the league still. So if he could stay healthy, especially that offensive line, there's a lot of question marks with like their health on the offensive line. But I mean, I think they could get to a playoff team, but I don't think they could go that far.
Yeah, no, they will be definitely better than last year if Rodgers can stay healthy, but it's like how much better in an AFC that's just stacked. So it's like the fact that the Texans now all of a sudden are a team to look at, it's making it harder for the Jets and even the Dolphins.
I mean, it's so many ifs with it. It's I don't know. I see it on Twitter. That's where I see all the Jets fans, and it makes me not want them to be good because they're so annoying. But
they talk spicy, man. They talk spicy.
For not having anything since like the 70s and the 60s, they really do have a lot of ego.
What was it? Super Bowl III was the last one they won.
Yeah.
Like I get the Dolphins haven't done it since the 70s, but God, Super Bowl III against Don Shula when he wasn't even with the Dolphins. Like, come on.
Yeah, they got more banners than we do.
The Baltimore Colts.
I wasn't gonna bring it up. I was gonna bring it up.
Speaking of the Bills, this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. That I feel like a lot of people are acting like the Bills' corner room and secondary. They're acting like it's gonna be bad. I really like it personally. So I guess I was kind of just wondering what you guys thought of Rasul Douglas, Taron Johnson, Christian Benford, and Taylor Rapp with Mike Edwards. I like it personally, but
I think it's because we don't like you're a Bills fan. So like for us, if we name like Cater Kohu or Nick Needham or any of these Cam Smith, you're probably like, I don't know how they're gonna be. And that's kind of like how we're at. Like Rasul Douglas is gonna be good for you guys. And I think his addition is why you guys let Tre'Davious White walk. But it's like outside of that with your safeties and stuff, we don't know who they really are. So a lot of it is a big question mark for us. And that's why we like to dog you guys on the fact that your whole secondary is like brand new. Like if you have DeMar Hamlin starting for you guys in the safeties position, you're in trouble.
I mean, well, I hear a lot of Cater Kohu because I hang out with Rich a lot, but I don't know. I really like Christian Benford because ever since we drafted him, like in training camp when we drafted him, he was great. And then throughout his rookie year before he got hurt, he was great. And then this past year, he was still great. And I'm excited for him. The thing is Taron and Rasul, they are a little bit on the older side. But I think if we can draft a safety, start the year with Rapp and Edwards, and kind of push these safeties in more, let them learn, I think it could be an exciting group. And I'm pumped.
Yeah, there's a lot of good safeties you guys can get in the second round that'll definitely be like an instant impact for you guys. I don't know if there's any first round safeties. I think from what I'm seeing, it's more second. But yeah, they could definitely be a good impact, like especially the Georgia safety. If you guys can nab him in the second, he's like a plug and play type of guy. You don't really have to wait for him to develop. So
yeah.
One player I think that will stand out this year on the Bills secondary is Taylor Rapp. I think when he was on the field, he really overperformed. Like I did not expect him to do as good as he did, especially with like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. They were getting older, so they needed more subs, and they were a little banged up. But I'm excited to see him play in like a starting role. I think he's going to earn that contract for sure.
It's exciting.
I have one more question about the Patriots here. The forgotten team in the AFC East, which it hasn't been before that. But are they going 0-6 in the division? Because there's a lot. I honestly think they will.
See, here's the thing about the Patriots, and it's hard for us to predict anything with them because for what, like 24 years, it was Bill Belichick. So it was like we always were like, oh, okay, they lost talent, but they still have Bill Belichick. And for a good like 20 years, it was like they still have Brady and Belichick. So regardless if they have any scrubs at receiver or whatever, they're still going to win a minimum of 9 games. Now you got Gerard Mayo, and we don't know what type of head coach he's going to be. We don't know how his draft style is, and him and Bill Belichick was the GM. Now all of a sudden it's like there has to be this collaboration on who they're going to be. And, back in the day, Bill Belichick loved to trade out of the first. That was his thing. We're going to trade out of the first, trade out of the first. They can't do that now. So it's like, we don't know what the Patriots are going to be. I don't think they'll go 0-6. As long as Tua is healthy, they'll go 0-2 against the Dolphins because they can't beat Tua.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I think they could get like 6 wins and really start to build off of that. But that Belichick tree, when it comes to coaching, is hot garbage. So if Gerard, the one exception is Mike Vrabel, and I don't know, man. It's such an up in the air type thing that they could be really good and be pushing for a wild card spot, or they could be bad and continue to build around any quarterback that they take. It's a big unknown.
I mean, with Mike Vrabel, I don't even know how he doesn't have a job. Against that Titans-Dolphins game where we lost, he was the reason we lost. It was all coaching. They had, like, no talent. Derrick Henry was, like, gassed. I mean, Spears did decent. But I honestly think we lost because of Vrabel. That was a pretty good comeback in the fourth quarter. So when I saw he didn't get a job this year, I didn't know if it was on his end or, like, the NFL just for some reason didn't want him in as, no teams wanted him. But I like Vrabel as a coach.
I'll say this. I'll give you a spicy take for your 15th show. I'll give you a spicy take.
Ooh.
If the Dolphins don't make the playoffs, and if the Dolphins fall apart, the fact that Mike Vrabel is available as a head coach is a good thing, because I think they tear it down. You cannot have another rebuild with what they have, and they'll have money and they'll have draft picks. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden it's a big shift, and all of a sudden the Dolphins are looking for a new head coach and Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, and then I hope this doesn't end up to be like a Killer Bees era where they had all this talent, but like they never got to the big show. Like Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, they were like unstoppable offense, but then they just never got far enough.
I'm speaking of the Titans game. I just thought I'd say this real quick. I remember me and you, Rich, we were texting that game. I remember after someone, I think it was Henry fumbled or something. I turned it off. I'm like, that was a nice win you guys just got. And I woke up in the morning. I look at him like, what happened?
Oh my
God,
it
was disgusting.
So I got a funny story. I went down to the Dolphins game when they played the Giants, and that Saturday I went to the Hurricanes game. One of my friends that was down there was like, hey, come to the Hurricanes game. So I'm like, all right, sure. Mind you, it was hot. It was October, so I was sweating. And we left the game because the Hurricanes were winning. There was a minute something left. So I left, and my friend texted me. He goes, you're never allowed to go to another Hurricanes game. I said, why? They won. He was like, they didn't win. And it was the game where they lost with 40 seconds left, and he was like, you're not allowed to go to another Hurricanes game. So yeah, I feel you. You're up by 15 with 2.5 minutes left. They should have won instead of playing prevent defense and then having your corners and safeties running into each other, or at least get a first down on offense. It was
Hey, I was okay with that loss.
Yeah, that opened the door for the Bills. They win that game, then they beat the Cowboys. They won the division, but them losing that game, it was like, all right, here you go, Buffalo, take the division.
I literally could have won before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Bills-Eagles game in Philadelphia this year, and losing that game, that was so tough. It was so. I'm still angry about it. Those refs.
That's how we feel about that Titans game.
All right, well, I'll try to keep on track with the Patriots thing here. I think I had one question about the Patriots. So, Drake May or Jaden Daniels, who do you think would fit them better?
I'm trying to remember who their style of offense they're going to run, because it's like two different styles of quarterback. Like Jaden Daniels is more of that mobile quarterback, whereas Drake May, he's mobile, but he's more of like a pocket passer. I would probably say Drake May, but I think that the Commanders are going to take Drake May. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots do trade down, say with the Vikings. The Vikings might give up like a ton. And again, they're in a rebuild mode. So if the Vikings are willing to give up multiple firsts and all of a sudden you can continue to build, they'll probably take that. But I think they might be stuck between like taking Jaden Daniels or reaching for like JJ or like Knicks or someone like that, which all of this bodes well for the Dolphins because there's going to be a lot of reaching, if not at quarterback, but definitely at wide receiver, because you're going to have Marvin Harrison go, and then you're going to, the LSU quarterback, everyone's going to want these Bills. The Bills might trade up to try to grab one of these receivers, and then the Dolphins are going to be sitting at 21 and might have a chance at Latu or Verse or JPJ or trade back. So this draft is going to be very interesting. The first 5 picks are really going to tell, because the Giants might even get Harrison Jr., which would be huge for them. This draft is going to be real. This is going to be like for the first time in a while. It might be because we haven't had a first in forever that I'm interested in this one, but it's going to be the first time in a while that this draft is going to be real interesting.
I'm hoping the Bills trade up because
you got the asset.
The ads are so long, honestly, just to see them pick a player.
Oh my God. I talk about that every year. The pick is in. We know what the pick is. They know what the pick is. And then they go to a commercial. And then they do some analysts about the last pick. And then they do this. So let's go to another commercial. Up here comes the commercial. It's like, just stop milking it, man. Like if they just called it when the team put their pick in, it'd be like an hour the first round. Like
the year that we drafted Rousseau at 30, it was brutal. It was like 11 o'clock until the pick went. It was so
2020 when we took Tua and then we took Austin Jackson, we then traded back with Green Bay, and I was like, I want to go to sleep. I was like, I want to end my live stream and go to sleep. It just drags, man. It drags.
Yeah, it's long. It's
super not worth it. No agony.
Oh my God. That's such a Brian Flores pick.
That's terrible. Oh, that was so bad. He literally did
nothing.
No. So obviously, the Miami Dolphins had the number 1 offense. We led the league by 622 yards, which is a massive gap. But with all these moves in free agency, like where does the AFC East stack up when it comes to like offensive lineups, in your opinion?
It's so hard. It's hard to say, really. Like with the Dolphins offensive line, I'm really glad that they brought back Isaiah Wynn and Kendall Lamb. I think those, especially Isaiah Wynn, the Dolphins run game was ridiculous when Wynn was healthy and he was in there. And then Kendall Lamb was a very good backup to Teron Armstead. The jury's out for me on Brewer. Great run blocker, but when it comes to pass blocking, I'm scared. So if they can take JPJ at 21 and move Brewer, I'm all for it. But you look at like the other teams, like the Chiefs, he had no one. He had Pacheco as a run game, but when it came to receiver, he had brick hands everywhere. And then Travis Kelce, and look what he did, man. And it's just crazy. And then you have the Texans coming up, but is there going to be a slump with CJ Stroud in his second year? There's a lot of question marks, but I still think if Mike McDaniel can get out of his own way in some of his play calling, I think the Dolphins can still have a number 3, like a top 3 offense in the NFL. A lot of it has to predicate on like in certain situations, Mike McDaniel gets a little cute. Like he'll throw these bubble screens to the outside, or on 3rd and 1, he'll like just run the ball, man. Like just trust your guys and call the right plays and get out of your head. Because it always happens. We lose a game by however, a touchdown, a field goal, whatever, because we couldn't move the ball. And in the post game, I got to call better games. Well, stop saying it and do it. So I think if the Dolphins can, get out of their own way, they could be a really dangerous team.
Yeah, and I think it has to be the Dolphins because the Bills lost Diggs, Gabe Davis, all of their receivers actually after that. I mean, Mitch Morse, which is like an underrated loss in my opinion. It's the QB of the offensive line. And the Jets are also relying on 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who just came off his Achilles tear. So, I mean, the safe bet's the Dolphins, but I think we should have it pretty handsomely.
Hey, man, wait till after the draft. Hold up. I got another Jets question. So obviously their improved O-line. How much of this is going to help them?
A lot. Now, I'll say this, though. They didn't change their turf. And their turf is the reason why Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Phillips and all these other guys for many years went down with these Achilles injuries. But I think if Aaron Rodgers didn't go down with the Achilles off of a fluke, injury, I think their line wouldn't have been that much of an impact on him because he is still somewhat mobile and he is able to get out of the pocket. But adding Morgan Moses and Teron Smith is big. I think it'll really help them if they could stay on the field. But again, it's that division and the conference and the defenses that they're going to have to go up against. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for all of the AFC. It's a division that's what I think the NFC had like a 8 and 9 team make it in. I think one of the South teams or something like that. Yeah, like whereas like we were scrapping to get in the AFC, so it's going to be tough. But I think any of the updates, yeah. So any of the updates that you could get, I think, will help them, especially if he could just stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean it's a gauntlet in the AFC. It really is. And even in your division, you got to play everybody twice a year with the D lines in the division. I mean, I don't know how Bradley Chubb's rehab is going, but assuming that it's good, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, if his still got Zach Sealer, like that's a really good D line still. And then obviously I'm gonna hype up the Bills a little bit. You got Greg, Daquan Jones, Ed Oliver, who was great last year. AJ Epinesa, you still got Bernard and Milano blitzing, and then the Patriots have an underrated D-line too.
Yeah,
Judon coming back, Barmore,
and that's Mayo's bread and butter, man. He's a defensive guy, so I don't see the defensive. As much as their team has been bad, their defense has always been like top 15, top 10. That was never their problem, and the Dolphins added Shaquille Barrett too, so it's like,
oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Even if Chubb is going to take a minute because Phillips came out and he said he's ready for the season. He'll be ready for the season. Even if Chubb does take maybe like 5 weeks and he starts on the pup, you got Shaquille Barrett, man. And like I said, if the Dolphins can somehow pull it out and take Latu or Verse or, Newton or any of these guys at 21, then it's going to be a big problem. And then we brought in Anthony Weaver, who's a defensive line guy and was with the Baltimore Ravens. So this division is a big defensive division. All around, yeah.
It's stacked, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Which AFC East head coach is under the most pressure to perform this year?
I think it's the Bills. Now, it's the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, he's made the playoffs 2 straight years and he's lost, but it's 2 years, whereas the Bills head coach, it's been year after year after year of you guys being Super Bowl favorites, AFC favorites, like favorite, and you guys always just miss. And it's off of these little things, wide right, 13 seconds, all of this stuff. And I think it's you guys. How much longer are you guys gonna, stick with your head coach if it's you? It's like a Marvin Lewis situation where Marvin Lewis got the Bengals in the playoffs every year, but he never won. You guys are in there and you're winning the first round and sometimes you win the second. It's like at some point you guys are going to have to sit back and be like, do we need to make a change at head coach? So to me, it's the Bills, but right behind them, and it's not far behind them. I think Mike McDaniel, he has to win a playoff game. There's only so much you can get in and not finally win one. So it's been 23 years. I think we need to win one. So yeah, for me, it's Bills, but Bills is like 1A, 1B is Mike McDaniel.
I mean, like on like Twitter and on the radio and stuff down here, I mean, everybody's split on McDermott. You either love him or you either hate him. When we were 6-6, I hated him, and then once we started to come back up, you start to like him more. But it's everybody who likes him says the same thing. But he ended the drought. But you can't ride on that. It was what 6-7 years ago. We can't keep riding on that. It's the year 20. We're about going to what 2024, 2025 season. We ended the drought in 2017, and we lost like 10-7 to the Jaguars. We need to stop riding off the end of the drought. We have Allen now. I mean, we just can't keep settling for these losses. And I mean, 13 seconds, prevent defense, press
Yeah.
off 15 yards when they only need a field goal and 2 timeouts. I mean, and then that's what got Leslie Frazier, because it was Leslie Frazier and McDermott's mind together, and that obviously didn't click. But I like McDermott calling the defensive plays, but he's just, his decision making.
It's like one of those situations where you would love to bring in a head coach and then have him be your defensive coordinator.
That's 100% what it is.
But there's no way on God's green earth that man is going to take a demotion. But yeah, and then also Robert Saleh.
That's what I was about to say.
If I had to put my money on out of the 3 who's going to get fired, it would be Robert Saleh, because I think they've fallen over themselves more than the Bills and the Dolphins, because we've made the playoffs.
Yeah,
they have been like just hot garbage for 3 straight years. So I'd actually put Robert Saleh in, I think, a 1, and then 2A, 2B would be McDermott and McDaniels, because it's only so long, and it's the Jets and it's the New York area, and they have no patience. So yeah.
I mean, they're 13 seasons into their drought, same as the Buffalo Sabres. So
They've made the playoffs of forever.
Yeah. I think my pick would definitely be Saleh.
McDermott should have gotten fired halfway through the year, in my opinion. I think the only reason he wasn't is because he made the decision to fire Ken Dorsey, and then it ended up working out for him. But I mean, it's the same thing year after year, where you get so far in the playoffs, and then you face the Bengals the one year, but mainly the Chiefs, and you just can't get over the hump, where this is your last year if I'm McDermott. And I mean, this isn't my bias, because I met McDermott and it wasn't a great experience, but I think McDermott really is on the hot seat.
I gotta hear this story. What happened?
Okay, so it's not even like I completely understand it. Like, I understand why he was like mad, but he went to my school for like his daughter's softball game, and I'm sure like people come up to him all the time. You're the Bills head coach and you live in Buffalo. So I just all I said was, "Hey, are you like McDermott?" And then he's like, "Yeah." He's like, and then I was like, "How are you?" I was like, "What are you here for?" He's like, "Oh, my daughter's game." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then I was like about to start walking away. He's like, "Just so you know, it's not really like nice to come up to people." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was just coming up to say hi. Like, I was about to leave, and he like totally snapped at me. I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, that's a little bit of a dick move, because you weren't even like, "Oh, can I get you didn't even ask for an autograph, a picture, or nothing. You were just like, "Hey, are you Sean McDermott? What are you here for?"
Yeah, I mean,
okay,
as a Dolphins fan, I didn't really want a picture or anything. I just was like, "Oh, hey, like, what's up?" But yeah, I think Saleh's also.
That's funny.
The only Bills staff member I've ever met was Ken Dorsey. So,
did you
my
say his
favorite memory of Ken Dorsey is that Dolphins Buffalo game where the clock ran out and he destroyed. That was awesome. That's a GIF forever. I'll use that one and Tua hugging Josh Allen
around here. Like, we all loved it.
Everyone was so hyped when he got fired. They were all like, "He's finally gone."
Dude,
it helped a lot.
It's so funny too, because I'm not knocking Josh Allen, but a lot of people talk about Tua being a system quarterback. Every quarterback is a system quarterback, because look at what happened with Josh Allen. They got rid of Ken Dorsey. They brought in Brady, and all of a sudden Brady was like, "Play your game, play your style, you're scrambling this and that," and he took off because they put him in the system that works for him. Like that knock that Tua is a system quarterback is such a lazy narrative, because every quarterback is a system quarterback. It's not like you're going to take you're not going to take Kirk Cousins and put him in RPO and have him running all over the place like Lamar Jackson. But it worked, and good for them, because Joe Brady's going to help Josh Allen a lot. He's just got to work on those interceptions, man.
Yeah, and going after like the 2020 draft, like to his draft class, you saw what like the Bengals did, where they actually built around Joe Burrow, and they made their scheme around Joe Burrow. They asked him, "What plays do you like?" Brian Flores didn't do that with Tua, so obviously you're going to think he gets thrown into Ryan Fitzpatrick's scheme. What do you expect's going to happen? You think he's going to just flourish and like throw the ball to these like contested catch receivers? Well, that's not what he was used to at Alabama. So you have to like look at how he was in college, and like, I don't know.
That 2020 season with the pandemic and everything, even Tom Brady came out and he said it was like learning Japanese or Spanish because he didn't even get a grasp on the Buccaneers system that they were implementing with his terminology until they made the playoffs. And it's like they contacted Herbert and they contacted Burrow, their individual teams, and were like, what do you like to run? We're going to implement it in the playbook to make your life easier. Whereas, like you said, Tua came in and they were like, you're learning this playbook. You're going to learn what Fitz does. And it's like, that's not how it works. And when you bring Mike McDaniel in, he's like, no, I'm going to build around my quarterback. And now that's a stigma. The only reason Tua did well is because we built around him. That's what you do in football.
Exactly.
I think that's why the Vikings, like the Josh Dobbs Linsanity run, I think that's why that ended, was because I forgot his name. The Vikings coach, I forgot his name, but it's fine. He tried to turn Dobbs into Kirk Cousins. He didn't they didn't have time or anything to switch it, and that's what caused Dobbs to kind of fall off. It's just he's an improviser scrambler.
Yes.
And I feel like they could have snuck in the playoffs maybe with Dobbs, but they tried to turn him into what they're used to, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, 100%. They did the opposite to Dobbs that you guys did with Josh Allen. They tried to confine him, whereas you guys let him be his thing, and he took off.
Yeah, I like Dobbs personally.
Yeah, I wanted the Dolphins. I wanted the Dolphins to bring Dobbs in when they brought in Brissett. I wanted Dobbs to be our backup, and then I wanted him to be the backup again instead of Mike White. I think he's good. I think he could be good.
This is my last question about the Bills, actually. One of my favorite wide receiver prospects, that's not Marvin Harrison Jr., because I'm a Buckeyes fan, Brian Thomas Jr. Do you think if the Bills were to draft him, where do you think he'd be a great fit or a little so-so?
I think I like him a lot. A lot of people think he could be there around the early 20s. So again, it wouldn't be that big of a jump for you guys to trade up to get Brian Thomas. He could be really good for you guys. He's tall too. I'm looking up his stats right now. He's a big man. 6'4", 205.
4.35 too.
Yeah, he's like ranked out of the top 100 on PFF at 28. Isn't that where you guys are picking too? Around like 28?
Yeah, exactly where we're picking.
So yeah, like I said, there's going to be a run. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, O'Dunes, and then there's kind of a drop off. And then there's Mitchell, Thomas, McConkey, Franklin, Wilson. But I think those guys might be a run at receiver. So you guys might have to trade up. But if the guy you want to be brought into Buffalo is Brian Thomas Jr., I think he'd be a perfect fit for you guys, and you don't have to give up as much capital to move up to get him. Like you might have to go to 20 or like even like 22 to try to get him, because that's how the draft works. There's always these tendencies of one guy gets taken, then another one in the same position, and then teams get scared. So then they start to either trade up or they start to take guys that shouldn't go that early because they're afraid they're not going to be there when they're going to go there, because there's like a whole movement at certain positions. But yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. would be perfect for you guys, especially matched with all the speed you guys have on receiver now. Yeah, I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, I love the fit because I think it could be what Gabe Davis was supposed to be, a taller receiver, deep threat. I love it as a dominant X. I mean, 6'4", 4.35 speed. You got good hands. I mean, that's who I really want. Like, that'd be the perfect. Just, it's a matter of where we get him. Because I mean, obviously, there's like, it's a little scary. Because 2 years ago, I think the Bills were gonna try to get McDuffie, but then the Chiefs straight up right in front of them, and they panicked and they took Elam. And I don't want that to happen again. I don't want like a panic pick of Xavier Worthy. I would not like that pick.
Yeah, he doesn't drop a lot of balls either. He's targeted 87 times, caught 68. That's not a lot of drops. Like like you said, he's got some sure hands there. Yeah.
I think it'd be great for a dominant X wide receiver.
Curtis
at 2 and then Shakir in the slot. I like that receiving room.
Yeah, for the Bills, honestly, like if they wanted to trade up in the like 20 range, if Donnie Mitchell's available, he's my like favorite prospect of the class. He runs a 4.33. He's 6'4", 200, and he was on that Texas team with Xavier Worthy. So they had that 1-2 combo. Like I think him and Curtis Samuel would have the same thing him and Worthy had, where like Samuel is super fast. He plays running back sometimes. He like can do it all. I would love to see a Donnie Mitchell on the Bills. Like I would hate to see it as a Dolphins fan, but for their offense, I think that'd be a really good.
We got Fuller and Ramsey. We're fine.
Oh yeah. Hey, Cam Smith too. Cam Smith is underrated. Yet he barely got any playing time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he could do. But yeah, Mitchell, another 6'4" guy, tall guy. Yeah, this draft is deep at wide receiver. It's really deep at wide receiver. He's 31st ranked. So again, if they can't get Brian Thomas Jr., you might be able to stay pat and take a Donnie Mitchell.
Yeah, I'm fine with either Thomas or Donnie Mitchell. Anybody but Xavier Worthy, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a terrible pickup.
So many people are hyping him up because he ran so fast, but it's like
John Ross.
He has problems, and no, like if the Dolphins took him at 55. I'd be fine at 55. I wish we had a third because then I'd be even happier with a third. But if anyone takes Xavier Worthy in the first round, their GM should be fired.
Yeah. He's 160 pounds. Like I was that in middle school. That's not even like
everyone wants the next Tyreek, and it's hard to find the next Tyreek.
And Worthy visited with the Bills too, so
you guys got a lot of picks too. So later in the round, you definitely double up on receiver and take them.
I mean, if we can get him in like the second, or we trade up into the third, I'm completely fine with getting Worthy. It's just I don't want him to like come in starting because, like Rich said, 160 pounds.
He's gonna get manhandled. Yeah.
Yeah. He needs to beef up to be like so because he's
I think that's his biggest knock coming out of college too. Is I think it's his size. Yeah, it struggles to separate against physical coverage is one of his cons. So yeah, you jam him at the line of scrimmage. It's kind of like what happened with Xavier with Tyreek Hill versus the Chiefs in the playoffs, where he was just getting thrown around. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you've seen this. The new kickoff rule. How do you think it's going to affect the AFC? Like honestly, with the Dolphins and these fast players. Do you think that they would throw like a Waddle or a Tyreek Hill, Achane, Mostert like at kick returner and see what they can do?
Yeah, because I think it's not as much of an impact or like an impact when it comes to getting hit. So, and it also can be a huge move because it's kind of like a run game where the running it. You ever watch arena football? Where like before they snap the ball, the receiver like starts to run at the line of scrimmage and then they snap the ball. It's kind of like that where you have the guys who are protecting and tackling 5 yards apart. So they make that impact block and you're taking off. They can't touch each other until the receiver catches the ball. So, it might be some situations where, hey, the Dolphins are down 4. There's a minute 15 left. We have one timeout. Tyreek, we need you to go do your thing and have him at least try to get us on the opposite side of the field. But you're going to see a lot of teams now draft returners like Xavier Worthy earlier than they probably should because of the new kickoff system, because of how impactful it is on that return game. And that's what the NFL is all about. We got the hip drop tackle being a penalty and, defense is being penalized left and right. They want high scoring games. They want another 70-20 Dolphins blowout. So they're changing things around for the offense.
Oh yeah.
I don't have. I don't have anything to say about the kickoff. I guess it's just exciting to see something new. I mean,
yeah, it's gonna be different.
It is. It's gonna be weird to see at first, but
especially Madden. Now Madden actually has to change something in their game.
Oh yeah. That'll be interesting. I wonder how it's going to play out.
Right?
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, they actually have to do work.
Not just change the jersey numbers and the faces, which they don't even do that properly. Some of these faces in Madden don't even look like the guys.
Who is
It's
it?
so
Jordan
bad.
Poyer and Hyde still don't have face scans. Nice.
Jeez.
It's disgusting.
Madden's something. Madden is something.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's something.
I'm excited for college football 25.
Oh, that's gonna be so sick. I'm excited for the new game.
That. I hope they do like they used to do, where it like coincides with Madden. Because remember, you can export your guy out off of college football and put him in Madden. I want them to do something like that.
That'd be cool. Because then you actually have a reason to buy both and not just not buy Madden. I guarantee Madden sales are going to plummet after the college football because they're going to have that franchise mode, which honestly is better. You only have the players for 4 years. You don't get bored.
Especially if they have it like, I don't remember what year in NCAA, but you have to take tests to like boost your like football IQ. Like it was so much fun. So if they bring it back, they're gonna need to do something and incorporate Madden into it.
If it's like a Madden reskin, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
It's just college jerseys and numbers. That's it. No names.
Like it'll be good. It'll be good for the first month because it's like a change, but then you're gonna start to see the flaw.
Hey, it'll save them money because they don't have to put likenesses in the game.
Oh yeah. Did they announce who's going to be on the cover of Madden?
Not yet. I think that normally happens after the draft. Same thing with the schedule. I think the schedule is going to come out right after the draft, which is going to be interesting.
So I have this, which I'm really excited to hear your opinion on this. AFC East floor and ceilings. So I could just go as an example, but I want to hear yours. I have Miami as a Super Bowl appearance, Buffalo AFC Championship appearance, New York division round exit, and then Patriots 6 wins as their ceilings. And then obviously we could do floors after, but that's kind of like the format that I was thinking of. That I think the Dolphins easily can make a Super Bowl appearance. Like we just have to beat the teams we should beat.
Wow. I would say ceiling for Buffalo would be Super Bowl appearance. Ceiling for Miami AFC divisional round. Their offensive line still worries the crap out of me. And trying to replace Christian Wilkins. Like the trenches. To me, it's all about the trenches. And Buffalo didn't really lose much in the trenches. So that's why I give Buffalo that nod. Ceiling for the Jets would probably be the AFC East. And then maybe a first round exit. And then the ceiling for the Patriots would be wild card. It'd be a shocker, but wild card for the Patriots. But this might be it for Buffalo, man. Like, you guys got to do something. It's been a long
closing
time.
hard.
It's
been closing for a while.
Like, it's been their year. It's been their year. It's been their year. Like, how many years is? You sound like Cowboy fans.
We hate hearing that. Dude, to satisfy us, we need one Super Bowl. And we're
man. You got to feel it. I haven't. I was born in 87. So they went to the Super Bowl 2 years before I was born, and they lost to the 49ers. So I haven't. We got 2 out of 5, which is nice, but
we're back to back, you know. But I mean, I haven't been alive, obviously.
We're the first team to go back to back too, so gotta put some respect on our names.
Undefeated, 72. Did you have time to do your floors and ceilings, Landon?
I didn't even know we were doing that, I'm gonna be honest.
Oh.
I can get off the top of my head though. So Bills, I would probably say Super Bowl appearance too. Not trying to be biased, just I mean, if the team can click and McDermott can just not do something stupid, we can make it. As long as we don't play KC. Miami, I could see an AFC Championship. I don't see yet for Super Bowl. I say give it a year or two, and they can go. Once they can like figure out if they can get like all around, because I feel like, well, obviously Jalen Waddle still has the stats, but I don't watch Miami Dolphins games, so I could be wrong, but I feel like they don't feed around to everybody. If they could get everybody going, it'd be super dynamic and insanely hard to stop.
Mhm.
But you get Mostert going, A-Chain going, Tyreek going, Jalen going. Even I feel like it'd be insane. Well, Mostert will probably be gone.
I think Waddle's problem this year was mainly his injuries. I think that's why he didn't get as many like of the targets. And he did say like he wanted more targets and stuff because he is a wide receiver one. He deserves like 100 targets at least. But mainly, I think it was the injury problems. Like he had an ankle injury and like he really wasn't healthy until week 10, week 11.
If you notice when you're watching the Dolphins as the season went on, they became more like quick throws, and it's because the offensive line just deteriorated. So instead of Tua being able to drop back, go to his first read, his second read, Mike McDaniel was like, "We're going to throw him bubble screens. You can just throw it to him, throw it." Because once it got paid, Tua had the league least time to throw, but he was the least hit quarterback in the NFL. So it had a lot to do with getting the ball out quick. We don't have time for you to go through reads because of how bad the offensive line is. So, but you saw it when Tyreek was injured against the Jets that second time, he went off. So like Waddle's fine. It's hard. It's hard to spread the ball out when you have so many good players. But I agree with you 100%. If the Dolphins can get it going and start to incorporate Achane, Mostert, Waddle, and Hill, and now Jonnu Smith, it's going to be dangerous. It'll be really dangerous.
I mean, yeah, A-Chain is insanely explosive. It's nuts. I mean, that game it was week 4. I mean, even though A-Chain was crazy that game, he still had like 120 scrimmage yards. It was nuts. But I would say my Jets ceiling is a divisional round loss. I think if they get a wild card win, that's huge for them, the development of their team. And then Patriots, it would probably be getting to 8 or 9 wins, being right on the bubble. Because they're a gritty team. They get it done. And I mean, I think it's just the history that surrounds them. They know they have to. It's like a good luck charm. I don't know, but they're gritty and they can make it close. But I don't think they'll make it with how crammed it is.
Yeah. Hold on, let me find it. Oh yeah, my floors are Miami wildcard exit. I mean, that's the 3rd year in a row. It's possible that we do have an exit in the first round again, and that means that we're not paying Tua, which I don't want to pay Tua until next year because like he's already under contract. I'm happy we got the 5th year option. We might as well just keep him in there and like an extra couple million. It's not that big of a deal to me. We still have the cap space. It's not like we need to sign him. Buffalo wildcard exit. They're not missing the playoffs. They have Josh Allen, and Josh Allen wins when he needs to. So I think that, and then Jets miss the playoffs. So I'd say like an 8 to 9 win season, and then the Patriots 3 wins.
Yeah, I agree. My ceiling for Buffalo, same. I think wild card. Dolphins. Floor. Dolphins floor might be missing the playoffs, and that would be bad. But like 8-9 wins would be the floor for the Dolphins. Jets floor will probably be another 6-win season. Rodgers is just not it or something. And then I agree with the Patriots, like 3 wins. They're still rebuilding, so there's not a lot of expectations on the Patriots. So anything that they can get, it's like the Dolphins in 2019. Anything they could get, hey, that's a positive build off of it for next season.
Yeah.
I think my floor for the Bills would be some gut-wrenching wild card loss.
Like the Texans.
And then Dolphins, I actually like their floor being missing the playoffs because they got all this star power and then it just doesn't click.
Yeah,
it doesn't click when it needs to, and I mean they've seen it happen before. You see, it happens in all kinds of sports. So I think that's a possibility. I don't know. Well, it's hard to tell if it's gonna happen, but I feel like it's unlikely because they've been together like this team, like Tyreek Tua. It's been 2 years. Waddle Tua.
It's going on 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be the case, but it could be. Big city, so. And then the Jets, a 6 to 7 win season. their savior Aaron Rodgers holds them back because he's so old. And then the Patriots 3 to 4 wins. I mean, the rebuilding, like you said. So, yeah, those are my floors.
Yeah, I mean, I like the floor for the Jets where you said 6 to 7 wins because honestly, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't perform like he used to, he might be like how Zach Wilson was last year. We don't really know how Rodgers is going to do. We haven't seen him play since Green Bay, so it's possible. And then our last thing that I want to say is I saw this on Instagram. Brandon Bean says Josh Allen likely woke up to the Stephon Diggs trade. Bean says they did not alert him prior to trading Stephon Diggs. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't really like that. I feel like the quarterback should be involved in all moves. But what do you think about that?
That's interesting to me. That now there was a lot of rumors that after week 1 that loss to the Jets that they kind of had a little pat or dispute. But that's interesting because the Dolphins with the option of bringing Odell in and they met with him, they offered him a contract. None of that happened until they talked to Tyreek. They talked to Tyreek first and were like, "Are you all right with this?" And Tyreek was like, "Yeah, sure. Let's bring him in. More the merry." So the fact that they hurry up and got Stephon Diggs out and then we're like, "Yeah, Josh, he's gone. The big bad man is gone. He won't bother you anymore." That's interesting to me. That's very interesting.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think the last time that they really had Josh's input, asked him solely on something, was offensive coordinator after Brian Dable left. And we got who Josh wanted in Ken Dorsey. And obviously that didn't work out for us. So I think that maybe, if this is true, they've kind of moved away from getting Josh's personal opinion just because they're scared of the outcome of what's going to happen. That seems like a Buffalo thing to have going on. But I don't know. I wouldn't shock me.
That's what happened to Rodgers on his way out of Green Bay. They stopped asking his opinion, and he didn't like it. So he kept asking out. He got the 4-year, $50 million a year contract, and then got traded off of it. But I don't know. I don't think franchises should talk to their stars when bringing in people or trading people. I don't know.
I want this draft to be based for Josh Allen.
Oh, for sure.
Whatever
you have to.
Josh
you have to draft for Josh Allen.
I'm tired of these. They're drafting only D. They always draft D linemen because McDermott and Bean are obsessed with them. It's always the wrestling background. I want them to do for what's best for the offense, which they did last year. They got Kincaid, which is I love Kincaid. Great for the offense. So we just need to keep spinning off.
He's so good.
Dude, I honestly think if the Dolphins didn't lose their first-round pick to the tampering, they would have taken Kincaid. We were right before the Buffalo in that year too. I wanted him.
We had to jump in front of Dallas to make sure we got him because they need a tight end. So I'm so glad we did. Obviously, the pick was not warranted well with people at first.
Which is crazy.
Well, it was at the fact that because we were thinking of the tight end standpoint, we had just paid Dawson Knox. Because at first, it was 11 o'clock at night. I was tired, so I'm like, "What are we doing? We just paid Dawson." But then once we started to bring in the pick, we're like, okay, we can work them both together. Kincaid's a little bit smaller for a tight end. He can work in as a slot guy, and we warmed up to it, and everybody loves Kincaid now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's got hands.
He does, and he can.
He really can catch that ball. So.
I love it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on for episode 15, Doug.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Yeah, man, it's a blast.
Yeah, I had a great time, and hopefully in the future we could get together for something else. But I really appreciate it. So everyone who's watching this, go subscribe. His ad's in the comments. I've been watching him for years, and I know Landon hasn't really seen too much because he's a Bills fan, but he did say he was going to watch some of your videos and check it out. So go check him out. one of the most subscribed Dolphins YouTubers on the platform. He's it's pretty good content over there.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So I'm Richard Donahue, and I'm with
Landon Kostusiak.
And we're signing out. Thank you, guys. Bye.